Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. My name is Roshni Sharma, and together with Clarissa Augustinus, we are the co-chairs of the FIG Climate Compass Task Force. The climate crisis represents the single greatest challenge humankind faces to ensure that our planet remains sustainable and our people remain resilient. This theme underpins the FIG Council's vision of sustainability over the term 2023 to 2026. For the benefit of society, concerted action by FIG members is needed to help meet a range of climate challenges, such as greenhouse gas emissions, biodiversity loss, deforestation, large-scale land use change, desertification, urban sprawl into agricultural land, water scarcity, pollution of the seas, and more. The expertise of FIG members means that we are well positioned to make a major contribution to addressing a wide range of land and water related climate change issues. COP27 reiterated that urgent action is required to save people and the planet. Future generations face an uncertain outlook characterized by increasingly hostile climate and greatly diminished resources. Land professionals, with their critically important skills and knowledge, need to contribute to addressing the climate crisis challenges. The discussion on climate action at global level has too often neglected key aspects of the roles played by surveyors on the ground. However, there is now strong emerging interest in linking land use, land tenure, the blue economy, and geospatial information more closely in a practical way and getting to grips with what happens on the ground. UNCCD and FAO have been involved in the production of several new reports on this and are doing more work in this area. The UN and many national and local governments are innovating in this fast-moving area of work. FIG has strong partnerships with these international organizations and can make an important contribution towards this work. FIG national organizations are also closely linked to their governments and can also contribute to this work. Without professional commitment and cooperation, future generations are going to struggle. And not only future generations, present generations, us, now. Society is increasingly recognizing that without urgent and sweeping changes, we are committed to a future where we will lose the ability to influence the climate as a number of feedback mechanisms become increasingly apparent. The immediacy of the issue applies not only to mitigation measures, but also to adapting to the impacts of climate change that is already being experienced. Above all, this plays out in the very areas that our profession operates: land, the built environment, the natural resources sector, and the blue economy. Surveyors have a large range of skills and knowledges that are needed to address different types of climate challenges. The major land and water climate challenges that relate to our profession include sea level rise and coastal zone management, carbon loss through land use change, deforestation, urban sprawl into agricultural areas, soil sealing, cropland expansion into natural and semi-natural areas, and avoiding, reducing, and restoring the land. Biodiversity loss through land use change and the need to set aside 30% of the Earth's land surface and oceans as protected areas. Desertification, land degradation, and land restoration. Natural disasters and building back better, because these will only continue to get worse over time. Degradation of wetlands, rivers, lakes, and peatlands. Breakdown in the Earth's global interconnected systems. Measurement of complex Earth systems for the management of competition over land and natural resources from global to local. Implementing existing national climate plans of the 193 countries who have nationally determined contribution or NDC plans, which is a climate action plan to cut emissions and adapt to climate impacts. Countries also have national biodiversity strategies and action plans, and often these plans do not take into account land and water tenure issues. 70% of people do not have government documents for their land, making tenure security critical for sustainable land management, as people will not invest in their land if they have no tenure security. Weak land and water governance, administration, management and data undermine sustainability. And lastly, weak waste disposal and land use controls are a risk. The Climate Compass Task Force intends to assess who has the knowledge about the role of surveyors in addressing the climate crisis now and into the future, harvesting this knowledge within FIG and globally within other organisations, update and build new knowledge in this fast-moving area of work, and identify ways forward from our gap analysis. Together, this task force will create processes aimed at raising the surveying profession's awareness of climate change and build capacity to enable surveyors to address these issues, build on what FIG and many of its surveyors working for partners such as GLTN have already developed regarding land, water and climate change, identify this knowledge and create ways to harvest it, including through reports, but also through enhanced sharing of this knowledge across FIG and other organisations through workshops and other means of listening and communicating. This learning approach will facilitate an evolutionary approach that builds upon knowledge and capacity over time. And lastly, we will develop and deliver a communication strategy led by young surveyors, involving a range of social media platforms, workshops, interactive and engaging webinars, and other emerging digital tools to make sure that we leave no one behind. As I mentioned, I am Roshni Sharma from Australia, working with Frontier SI and the Geospatial Council of Australia. My co-chair is Clarissa Augustinus, a seasoned surveyor from Ireland, and together we are very excited to serve you. We have a core team among which we have gender parity, a small majority of young surveyors compared to seasoned surveyors, membership across the whole globe, including the 5 FIG regions, and across many commissions, networks, and other task forces within FIG. We have 3 levels of engagement for sustainability, impact, and reach, and we are calling on you, our Climate Compass Task Force, no matter where you are in the world, to come together to raise awareness of the role that surveyors worldwide play in addressing and mitigating the climate crisis and forging new, strong pathways ahead for people and planet. Together, we can redefine our future to be sustainable, clean, equitable, and accessible. Thank you.